just vibe to that music. I'm just sitting here like this.
Chilling out. Get the
Just
head
chilling out.
bobbing.
Good evening, Kyber Cave family. How are you? I saw Mr.
Hello
Burger in there. Hi, Mr.
there.
Burger. Hi, Say Wong. A distance nerding here to party.
Woo!
Oh, Say Wong says it's always Phil's fault. So, hi, Mixed Oreo. Hi, Cam. Yes, we're
Ooh.
late. We'll blame Phil this time. Give Dan a break
Yeah,
from all of the blame.
that's right.
Good evening. We hope you're all well. How are you this evening, Mr. Excala?
I am good. I'm tired. I had a long week. I went to Fresno yesterday. I got
Mm-hmm.
to meet the group Once Upon a Wish Foundation, so that was very cool.
That's neat.
Um yeah, and we did there was a little fundraiser for them out at TGI Fridays, and I got to see, well, a replica of the DeLorean from Back to the Future. That
I
was
saw
super cool.
pictures. I saw the
Yes.
pictures. That's really cool. I was busy because as I was telling Ark a little bit about this before coming on. I had a choir concert last night, and I do a lot for the concert. Yes, a sexy shirt that Ark Scala has on. um,
Woo.
I don't have a distance nerding merch yet. I need to get some. Um, so I had a concert and I designed. Hi, Brian. I designed the programs. I printed them and folded them all. I printed out lyrics and stapled a bunch of them. I ordered stuff for like coffee and tea and all this kind of different stuff. And we had to get that set up, and then I took care of the online ticket orders and all that jazz. And so like getting everything ready, and then I sang a solo last minute. So all of
How was
that
that?
together, the solo was
How was
fine.
this?
Okay. I know I've sung here on stream. It's one thing when you're singing and you're in front of a computer versus in front of a huge group of people. And
Right.
I know this might surprise people. Streaming I've done for, years now. And I'm comfortable with it. Singing, which I've done even longer, I don't sing by myself in front of people a lot, and I get stage fright when it happens, and my heart will race, my breath will quicken, and then my throat goes dry and I can't sing, and my breathing control is just totally out of it. So my
Uh-huh.
focus, I just need more experience. And so I was very thankful that my friend who's the director let me sing last night. I did one verse of Oh Holy Night and it went fine. It wasn't like amazing. It wasn't my best, but I'm just glad I did it because even while the person before me is going and singing their song, I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, we didn't put it in the program because we weren't sure. I could just back out, but I didn't. I did it.
Right. Woo. Did it feel
So,
good? Do you feel
it,
accomplished?
yes, I do. So guys, what is our first segment that we have on the show?
Nerdy news.
Our nerdy news. And so the first story for your nerdy news is weird but true. Star Wars will highlight strange galactic facts. Apologize. I copy and pasted it from the article so they have it spelled wrong. Facts, not fats, and trivia. So if you guys want to check out, this is actually really interesting. Like to talk about where they made Darth Vader's breathing sound from and such. So if you want to check that out, that's actually being posted in the chat. If you're watching this in the upload, just check out the description below and you'll see the links to our nerdy news articles. But the article lets you see a few pages so you
Uh,
can kind of see what you're getting into, but I found it really interesting. Um, they also talk about like early concepts of Yoda and stuff like that. So
nice.
I thought that was kind of cool and interesting. And
That
the
should make for a
next
good
thing
holiday
on
gift.
yeah, next on your nerdy news, Marvel's Blade game in development from Bethesda Softworks and Arcane Lion. There is a link in the description. We watched the trailer. My husband and I watched the trailer for it, and we discussed a little bit about it on Saturday Morning Nerd Out yesterday. Tuned into those on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yes.
That is our nerd show where we talk about like we expand on nerd news and like discuss our reviews on things. And it looks really good. It looks like fun. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to come out. I will see how it is. Bethesda's doing it with Arcane Lion, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm kind of excited. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to play it myself, but I'm excited to watch others play it probably. Um anyway, so that is your your nerdy news. I'll post the link to that one in just a second as well. But yeah, take a look at those. Those are lots of fun. Both of those stories just kind of like grab my attention.
Woo!
That is your nerdy news for today.
Nerdy news. And I want to see. I know we picked up a couple of people. We are at 1565. So
Yeah.
5 more. So we need 35 more people, my friends.
Share, share,
35 more
share.
people. And I want to let everybody know. I'm going to start doing this on Saber Rattles, just so you know, Mez. But this episode is brought to you by Kyber Cave. Make sure to check out our website. Tonight is the last night, although we're having a problem with the code. So if you're trying to get in tonight, give us a call tomorrow, and we will honor your 20% off. But tonight is the last night for 20% off of anything in the website. Like I said, the code isn't working tonight, but if you call us between 2 and 7 tomorrow, we will get that taken care of and you'll get the 20%
Hello,
off.
Mr. Kevin Hogan.
Hello, Kevin Hogan. So, kybercave.com, and make sure to check out kcpmerch.com too
Please give
for
me
all
one.
kinds of cool stuff from this channel right here.
Yeah, and guess who's designed all the merch mostly?
Woo!
So the retro alcove logo was made by Graybeard. That is the one thing he will definitely be taking with him.
Yes, I was just wearing that shirt yesterday.
KCP merchandise. Yes, they want. Get yourself some. All right. So next on our list, guys, James Kaiser is our producer for Flow the Show, and every week that we have the show, he brings us a flow that is really cool. And this one is on a massive stage, and it looked really
Ooh.
interesting. So I threw in a little edits here and there to get a little closer to the stage, but I found because the whole stage is kind of used in parts of the performance. So I found it really interesting. So without further ado, please enjoy our Flow of the Show,
What's up, Duran?
Emmett Koenig. Hi, Duran. Okay, guys, enjoy Flow of the Show. Thank you, James Kaiser. Wasn't that cool?
Wow, that was amazing. I think that's the first time we've seen it in front of a big audience like that.
Yeah,
Holy crap, that
it was a
audience was
huge
huge.
audience. Yeah, and
And
I
I
was like,
loved how
that's really
he
neat.
had like other lights on stage that like
Yeah, and they were programmed and
correspond.
synced.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
such a
was
good
really
performance.
well produced. So
Well
thank you so
done, well
much,
done.
Emmett Koenig, for letting us use that. Um, well, it's time. You want to introduce our wonderful guest?
It's that magical time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have another exciting guest. This person has been to our show before, but I wanted to talk to him tonight because of his recent trip and his recent travels and a particular photo I'm very, very jealous of in particular. Um, this gentleman, ever since Kyber Cave started, he is probably one of the first people that we got to meet. And this is our sister broadcast station in Sacramento. They do a great podcast called Distance Nerding that you can find on any of your social media platforms. Wherever you nerd out, they are nerding out there, hanging out there, waiting for you. So, with no further ado, please give it up for Mr. Young Phil of Distance Nerding. What up, Daddy O? Hello? Are you got Mike?
No, okay, yeah, no, I'm over here talking and just nobody hears me. I'm saying you guys made me look so much more badass than I actually am. It's great. It's fine.
Oh, dude,
You know,
you are badass.
You are
usually,
badass. Stop it.
usually I'm the one that's making everybody else look badass, and it's like, oh, well, hey, you guys just made me look dope. Okay, I'm with it, man. Say
How are
Wong,
you doing, my
James is
friend?
dead. Say Wong. uh,
Oh, poor James.
I'm good, man. No, James has been on leave for the last couple of weeks on distance nerding.
Mm.
Some things going on family wise, so that's just kind of been the joke in our chat for like the last couple of weeks. Is that Philippe finally went nuts and killed James,
He's dead.
and then James shows up in chat, and they're like, "No, it's just Phil talking for James in the chat."
All right. So, my friend, you have been here before. I'm sure many
Yes,
people
sir.
in our audience know who you are already. But for those that don't, and before we get in, we have a lot to talk about this weekend. You had an exciting weekend, my friend, and I'm excited to talk to you about it. Before we get into all that, why don't you let people know a little bit about who you are, what it is you do?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your boy, Young Phil, Distance Nerding Podcast.
Woo-hoo.
We are a podcast that we advocate for everybody's nerddoms. We're all about normalizing everyone's nerddoms. We want to do all of the fun nerd stuff without all of the toxicity. We are very anti-gatekeeper. We don't like gatekeepers around on our show. We don't like people who will make fun of your nerddoms or your fandoms and the things you love. Our whole thing is about nerding together, and we're also trying to change the concept of the word nerding. Right? You know, the idea of right now everybody says that if you're a nerd, that automatically means Star Wars or pop culture and things like that. But the way we look at it is nerding is a verb. Right, being a nerd just basically means that you have a passion for something, right?
Right.
Say Wong has gotten into this argument with me more than once, right? But like, where he'll say, "Oh, well, I'm the anti-nerd. I'm not a nerd. I like sports," and it's like, okay, if you know sports statistics, you're a
Right.
sports nerd, right? We had a conversation. It's true. We had a conversation with the guy that he's really trying to like say, oh, I'm not a nerd. Nerds all the like the bad, trying to make nerds look bad. And I told him, well, what's something that you enjoy? What's something that you do when you're not, uh, you know, hanging out at dinners with us and stuff like that, right? And
Right.
he goes, well, I don't watch any of that nerd stuff. I was like, no, but what's something you like? He goes, guns, and that's it. That's he's trying to go straight face, and I was like, okay, so you know about SOP mods, you know about upper receivers, lower receivers, you know about different types of triggers and things like that. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I said you're a gun nerd, and he got so upset with that. I was like,
Right.
you're a gun nerd, man. Like you nerd out about guns. You have a passion for it. So I mean, you can nerd out on sports. You can nerd out on anything. The idea behind nerding to us is that you are passionate about something and you enjoy your passions, and we want to advocate for that. We want to say that if it's something that other people don't understand, like fringe fandoms. I mean, some of the stuff's not even fringe anymore, but like, again, like furry culture, or you like My Little Pony, you're a brony, things like that. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with enjoying the things you like,
Right.
and we want to advocate for liking the things you like. Like, if you want to tell us why it's cool to like what you like, we want to advocate for that. So that's kind of the idea behind distance nerding. That's what we kind of exist around, and then that's what we're here
I will say I think this is one of the few things that Gen Z and Gen A got right,
for.
is that we're coming into a time period where it's becoming more and more acceptable to just be who you are.
Right.
If you're the type of person that likes to wear a cat tail while you're walking down the street, just do it. Put a cat tail on and head to the mall.
Exactly. Again, it's like, whatever you like, you should not be ostracized for enjoying the things you like. You know what I mean?
Right,
And then
right,
on the opposite spectrum, again, like, the lately we've been trying to combat uh um gatekeeping more, because we don't feel like that's not how you grow fandoms.
right,
To say that you are not allowed to like something because you didn't like it from the beginning, or we don't like you because you don't like this and all this other stuff. Like, no, Star Wars, again, is the example we use all the time. You have a lot of
right,
that say, well, that's not my Star Wars, and you're not allowed to like this because it's not Star Wars and all this. Well, no. People are allowed to enjoy the things they want to enjoy. If you like the sequels, but everybody else hates the sequels, enjoy what you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
we don't have, at this point, where the canon is what it is. We can't change what the canon is. So at that point, learn to like it. Find a way to enjoy it. I did that with the sequels. You know what I mean?
Right. So let me ask you, when you guys, when you say you were a podcast, I feel like that's just such a a loose definition. Like you guys, I mean, that it almost seems like a word you throw in there because you don't know what other word to put in there. I mean, you do so much more than just podcast on the radio. You go out to live events. I
Right.
know you would what is that, the pub, the brewing place in Sacramento? You guys used to do events at.
Which
Um,
we want to start doing again. That's Jackrabbit Brewery. We were they just did an event with Sac Geeks out there yesterday.
Right. And then I know you guys used to rent out movie theaters and do premiere nights for different movies. So you
God, I
guys
want
are
to do that
so
again.
much more than just,
Yeah.
two guys with a couple of headphones on talking on the air. How do you describe this as nerding?
Um, our whole thing is, we outside of being a podcast, we want to be a community. So again, just kind of being a community that supports each other and supports everyone around us, because that's the main thing that we want to do is, and we want to do more than just say, you know uh we want a community. Like, we want to be a part of it. We want to be
Right.
active in the community that we're trying to create and be a part of. We're trying to make essentially start a bigger movement around us than just being a bunch of nerds that like nerdy things. it's
Right.
it's it's trying to be a inclusive society of people who enjoy pop culture.
Right.
As
For
far as
me,
like the definition of what we are, I mean, we are primarily a podcast. So it's like, we evolved to start doing live shows when we started doing live episodes on Tuesdays, but that still does become an audio podcast.
right.
And same thing where now with Comic Con Radio, which is something we've partnered with, whenever we do live interviews, interviewing celebrities or guests and things like that, we convert that to Comic Conversations, which is on Comic Con Radio. So I mean, like, we do a lot of that. Yeah, I guess we could be considered a vidcast, Mezzo.
Yeah.
Like, because we do a lot more video, a lot more content. We try to appeal to social media and things like that. But I mean, for the most part, it's the way that me and James have started this, and we have like a lot of people that have gone between Kyber Cave and with us now and everything like that. The day we stop having fun is the day we stop doing everything that we do. And that's really the main thing, is that we want to continue to have fun doing what we do, but enjoy it with everyone else around us.
Right. It's funny you were talking about community, and I was kind of reminded about that yesterday. I was at an event in Fresno with Wish Upon a Star
Project
organization,
Wish. Yeah, Project Wish upon
Project
a Star.
Wish. And they had come up to me and they were like, they had asked me, they're like, hey, how long has Kyber Cave been around? Because they said they had remembered hearing about Kyber Cave in the Hardly Heroes days.
Yep.
And I was like, oh wow. I was like, that's going back. So it's very interesting how we can have these communities, and they're an organization that I've heard about many times through
Yeah.
you and through other groups, but we've just never run into each other. And then um we have all the same friends in different associations. So yeah, it really is kind of a tight knit community.
Yeah. We here's the transition into what why I came to talk on here, but that's mainly what we did last weekend. Is we were with Project Wish Upon a Star promoting them at LA Comic Con.
Wow. So when you say promoting them, what exactly? Now I did see. I was watching YouTube and I saw a video that you had put out with Geek
Geek
Saga.
Saga. Yeah.
And it looked like you guys were at a booth and there was like people walking by the booth.
Yeah.
But then there was other scenes where you were walking around, and well, not you, but the
Yeah.
other people from Geek
David.
Saga. Yeah, they were walking around talking to artists and things like that. But tell us a little bit more about that.
So Geek Saga, we linked them up with Project Wish just mainly because Project Wish is based out of Fresno. David, one of the co-hosts of the Geek Saga podcast, he lives in Fresno, and
Mhm.
so we were like, hey, maybe we can link them together, and they can actually link up and do things together and whatnot, just because they're closer, right? And it's we always want to try and find ways that we can support Project Wish in the best way that we can.
Right.
and and so we linked them up, and they've had such a good relationship that what ended up happening was they asked Project Wish, hey, can we set up a live podcast booth at your guys' booth? And they're like, yeah, by all means. So they went all out. They set up cameras, they set up mic stations, they set up a whole booth there, and
Right.
we started doing a live podcast on Saturday. And that ended up not working out the way we planned it to, because the generator ended up dying.
Oh.
So yeah, so it ended up converting to them walking around the con floor with their phone and interviewing people on the fly. But yeah, no, I
Right.
mean, that's a lot of the fun stuff. When I say support them, we were out in the middle of the aisleway just trying to sell raffle tickets and promote Project Wish. We're always, anytime that we try to meet celebrities while we're there, we always try to get them to come and sign Star the Cow. Project Wish has roots with Stan Lee.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, Project Wish started as an organization that Stan Lee started started with, and every year up until he died, Stan Lee would sign at their booth.
Wow.
And it's a charity. The charity is designed to support terminally ill children. Usually children that have anything ranging from types of cancers to different types of terminal illnesses. Um, and it's designed to give them the con experience, right? So, hey, these kids want to go to a con and meet a celebrity. Well, let's make them a custom cosplay, and let's do an entire thing around them. And the idea is to make them the king or queen of the day.
Right.
And it's always a fun experience with them, and they do so much. Darren and V are people who are very deserving of admiration for the amount of work that they do to try and take care of the community and take care of people.
Right.
I'm gonna actually post here in the chat. Um, if anybody out there wants to donate to Project Wish Upon a Star, simple enough. That's it right there. pwuas.org.
Thank you.
Yeah, and go and check them out. They're actually a really good organization. They're always there trying to help everybody they can. Star the Cow is kind of like the mascot that they have.
Uh-huh.
It's got all kinds of signatures from like every celebrity you can think of.
Wow. So when you went down to LA Con this weekend, were you going in support of Geek Saga, or were you just going and ran into them and started helping them out?
So whenever we go to LA Comic Con, we go as press.
Mhm.
So
This is your
this is
second or third year, right?
our third year. So this is
Yeah.
our third year going to LA Comic Con. We've got a great relationship with their PR team and everybody there. First year it started out oh, nice. First year it started out with us just going, and the promoters at LA Comic Con really like podcasts, so they were just like, "Oh yeah, you guys are a podcast, yeah, no, just submit and we'll get you there." And
Uh,
we made sure that we took pictures and everything like that. Year two, we that last year when we linked up with Comic Con Radio. And we were supposed to go down there and hook up with them, but they ended up having to pull out of the con. Well,
oh,
we didn't have a booth, we didn't have anywhere to go, so they, the guy who runs Comic Con Radio ends up linking us with the PR team over at LA Comic Con. They put us in the press booth, and they hooked us up with a bunch of interviews and stuff. So I mean, like that was fun.
wow.
Yeah, and then this year, same thing. They all recognized us. They're all like, "Oh yeah, no, we the distance nerding, we love you guys," and that relationship is like growing. Like the more we grow, LA Comic Con really like pushes us a lot. So it helps us out a lot that we have so much support from that community as well.
Would you say that's one of the bigger events you do every year?
Yeah, that's the biggest event we do every year. That one in Gem State Comic Con.
Right, right. And are they same or are they different types of monsters when you look at? I mean, is doing podcasting for one con like when you've done one, you've done them all, or do they all kind of have their own little variety or taste to them?
They do all have their own little variety just because the different communities are gonna react differently. I mean, we do see similar people at different cons and stuff like that. We do see a lot of cosplayers that, we'll see in Oregon at different shows out there versus like, a lot of our Southern California or like Mid Valley California cosplayers we'll see at LA Comic Con every year, like Cindy Rue cosplay, H2 Hummin, you know, of course the Fresno Deadpools, we're all good friends with them, so like
Right.
a lot of them we'll see at these cons and we'll go and hang out with them, and it's pretty cool.
Nice, nice. And this, when you're going to weekends like this, do you kind of have a game plan, or do you have to be just as flexible as possible?
uh it's kind of both, man. Like we'll have an idea of what it is that we want to do. um Say Wong, personally, I don't know D Pity. I would love to meet D Pity. I'm sure there's been a couple times where somebody's mistaken me for D Pity, so that's always fun when that happens. I get the mistakes for D Pity. I've also been mistaken for a couple Deadpool cosplayers. It's usually pretty fun.
Uh-huh.
But no, what was I saying?
Um, I totally lost track once the D came up. Um, we were talking about the difference between cons. Like, is doing a podcast for one con the
Oh
same
yeah.
as each, or are they a little bit different? Or
Yeah, so the communities are always different. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get a different community in Idaho versus Oregon versus LA and everything like that. We do different prep for different shows.
Mhm.
Now we do a lot of Colossus Girl shows. So with the Colossus Girl shows, we handle all the panels for all of their Comic Cons. So all the celebrity interviews and all of the different shows and hosting and all that, we handle all of that stuff for anything that Colossus Girl puts on.
Right,
For something like LA Comic Con, again, we go as press, so it's more we're seeking out what celebrities we can meet and try and like get interviews with, or what guests that we can find and stuff. Like we LA Comic Con is usually like our big show of the year that gives us like a big push
right,
for all of the guests that we're gonna have for the rest of the year. So you know uh we link up with a lot of like independent comic book creators, both artists and writers. We link up with a lot of cosplayers, but then we try to link up with like different types of celebrities and different things that are on there at the con.
right. And for you guys, them, what I think is very interesting, because I was thinking about you guys in terms of We hear a lot of now of days about people getting superhero fatigue. And oh, okay, one second, one second. Hello, can you hear me?
I
Am I
can hear
back?
you. You've
All
been
right.
here the whole time for me, man.
Oh, okay. My okay, sorry, it went out. Superhero fatigue. And we on KCP, we have Saturday morning nerd out.
Hmm.
You guys talk about, all the theories and the movies that are coming out, especially superhero type stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think if superhero fatigue is true, you guys could still go on, right? Because I mean, your nerding is, I mean, you could be wrestling, you could be comic
Oh, yeah.
books, you could be manga, you could be, I mean, anything, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we we do not have a there's not a short of content for us to talk about just because there's so much that's out there. I mean, we talk about general pop culture, but then we also talk about wrestling. We also talk about anime, animation in general. Just everything that's out, cartoons, man. Like, I mean, just there's nothing out there that we don't talk about. I mean, video games. I've got Mario sitting right next to me right here. Just Lego. I mean, come on. I have a whole show, and this was the pitch when we were at LA Comic Con talking to everybody, is I have a whole show where I build Lego while I do an interview, and people
Right.
love the concept of that, you know. Um,
Can I add, I appreciate you using the correct plural for
of
Lego.
Lego. Yes, it's true.
Wow.
Yeah. The plural for Lego is Lego.
I learned
uh,
something today.
yes, there is no such thing as Legos. Legos, that would be a plural of a plural.
You
so
say Lego
so
bricks.
Lego bricks would be that. Yeah.
when you're going out, like, do you in particular, or is it like, maybe I'm just using an example, maybe you tend to be focused really on the comic book people and the artists, and maybe James is looking for musicians and actors, or do you guys just kind of go and talk to whoever you can find?
No, we just talk to whoever we can find. It's funny is my wife Jackie was just talking about how there were certain people that she wasn't sure if I'd be interested in talking to them. And I was like, well, no, I'm interested in talking to creatives. I don't
Right.
care what you do. I want to talk about the creative process. We had a conversation with a I don't want to give it away. So we were talking with a guest that, or a potential guest in the future, and he was afraid that we would bring up current and future projects, and he's like, I can't talk about that. And I was telling him, I don't want to talk about your current and future projects. You might have somebody in the chat that might ask about it, but
Right.
all you if you come on the show, all you have to say is I don't want to talk about that, which is fine because that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your creative process. I want to talk about how you got into what you're doing. I want to talk about your origin story and how you became who you are.
Right.
And this particular person is an artist. So, like, where did you get the bug for art? When did you start becoming an artist? Um, Both James and I have a passion for, I would say we're amateur journalists because none of us have formal training in journalism or anything like that. But we tend to do a crap ton of research on every person that we interview, whether it's somebody that's small or somebody that's giant.
Right.
And most of the people that we interview, they appreciate that because they feel like, oh yeah, these guys really do enjoy what I do. We had another guest that we had interviewed at a con that said that they what they liked about us the most was both James and I, we don't seem like we're phoning things in. We're not like, oh yeah, you were in this cartoon, so tell us about that. Like, we know the properties that they're in and we get excited
Right.
about those properties, and we're sitting there saying like, oh dude, you were in this. So tell us what the experience of this was, or tell us what it was like doing X, Y, and Z and things like that. And he was saying like he enjoys the passion that we have
Right.
because it's not just somebody who's reporting on something, it's somebody who enjoys that stuff that also gets to report on it. And that's kind of the way that we see it too. Is, you know,
Wow.
we're nerds that get to report on nerdy things. If you missed, if you're new to us, if you guys don't know who Distance Nerding is, uh we just recently, our latest episode, I did my first piece of original journalism, and it felt nice. It felt really good. We reported on, so we got invited to a Nacelle press conference for the Nacelle company.
Mhm.
If you're unfamiliar with Nacelle company, if you've seen the toys that made us, the movies that made us,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
shows on Netflix, if you've watched Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus, Nacelle company is behind all that stuff, right?
Oh, wow.
Also, yeah, also, they're the ones that are bringing back all the retro cartoons right now, like Robo Force and Biker Mice from Mars, things like that. They're the ones that are bringing all that back and bringing all the toys back and everything like that. So we got invited to go to their press conference for uh, the announcement of the Nacilleverse, which is a new universe of cartoons that they're putting together,
Uh,
bunch of old cartoons between the 50s and the 90s that kind of didn't get their just due, but they're putting them inside of like one cohesive universe. So excuse
wow.
me. Um, and that was awesome. So I mean, I actually like took notes and wrote everything down and wrote a piece on it. And I was like, we're gonna report on this, just because I wanted to do an original piece. And funny enough, James just did another original piece that he just submitted to Spoiler Magazine. So like, we're 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 jumping into like the journalism arena more so just because we're finding that we have a passion for this kind of thing without even doing like the whole scoop spoilers and all that. Like we just kind of like, we'll report on stuff like that and we'll speculate on things like that, but we just enjoy having conversations about nerdy things with like-minded people.
So does that mean, okay, so let's say LA Con is coming up next week.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the week ahead of time, you and James are looking through the guests that are coming and just
Oh yeah.
doing basic research on everybody just in case you run into them?
So kind of
Or do you like target certain people and go, okay, we're really gonna try to shoot for the Red Ranger or whoever it
yeah.
is?
So we do kind of target for certain people. What we did last year, because we got some pretty major interviews last year. We're pretty good about, if it's a property we already know about, we'll go off of what we know, right? So at the last minute, they scheduled an interview with us with for us with the cast of the Sandlot, right? And
Uh-huh.
that was really cool. But for us, it was like, oh, we know all about the Sandlot. Let's like actually look up. We'll just like do a quick like Google research. It's like, okay, what's some things that we can bring up or all this. Oh, look, they have a foundation that we can talk about. They have this thing. Oh, this is really
Right.
cool. Things like that. And then Rob Paulson, we talked to Rob Paulson. We stayed up until 2 in the morning that night writing an interview to make sure that we had material for the next day.
He's the creator of Deadpool, right?
No, no. Rob Paulson is the voice of Yakko Warner and Pinky from Pinky
Oh,
and the Brain.
sorry.
He's the
Sorry.
original. Yeah, he's the original Raphael from Ninja Turtles. This dude has he's voiced a character in every cartoon you have ever watched if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s watching cartoons.
Right. Wow, that is fantastic. Do
Mhm.
you particularly have a genre that just makes you giddy? Like,
God,
are you a comic book or movies or music or
it's hard to pinpoint anything with me because I get so excited about everything. Uh, like yeah,
Oh,
he's like
yes.
Jim Cummings of cable voices. Um, there's it gets really hard to say, is there one thing that I nerd out on a lot? Because I nerd out about everything, right? So, like, I know deep cut Star Wars. I know all about the comics when it comes to DC and Marvel. I even know some Image stuff. I tend to be the knowledge guy on the show, where it's like, oh yeah, hey, um, you know, Miss Marvel is coming out. Tell us why you should like Miss Marvel, and I'll go nerd out about Miss Marvel, stuff like that. He did do John Lennon in anime. He played a lot of characters on Animaniacs. He played Dr. Scratch and Sniff. Um he played Yakko Warner. I mean, the guy's so versatile. It's
Jim
ridiculous.
Cummings does my favorite Star Wars character in all of Star Wars. He does Hondo Inaka.
Oh, Hondo Naka. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hondo's a great character. I can't wait to see him live action, man. It'll be great when because we've seen his race at this point in the Mandalorian. So it's like I want to
Right.
see him actually like somebody interact with Hondo Onaka. That would be pretty dope.
That would be dope. And so let me ask you, how do you feel like I'm sure every artist, they say, if you can't look back at yourself 2 years ago and think that you were terrible, then you're not progressing. Are
God.
you able to look back at where, because I mean, at this point, distance nerding has been what, 4 5 years?
No, no, we're 3 years this year.
3 years this year. Okay. Are you do you ever look back at where you guys started and just go, man, like we've come a long way?
Every day, man. You can go back and listen to our first episode, and literally the episode is called "We You Got to Start Somewhere," right? And
Right.
and the idea is because it was just me and James and a Blue Yeti microphone talking at a table, and it sounds absolutely horrible. And we really didn't start getting our flow until like episode 6, and now we're 153 episodes in. So I mean, like
Right.
we've been doing this for a while. As far as look back and acknowledge you're horrible. I mean, we still don't think we're good. Like we're those guys that we get compliments from people that we interview, or we get compliments from fans and guests and stuff like that, and we're just like humbled by it every time because we really don't think we're that good. We feel like the things that we do are basic things that you would expect anyone to do, and apparently it seems like most people don't. But I mean, like
Right. I
that's
mean,
the
you guys
thing
are
with
still
us is
here.
yeah.
A
I mean,
lot
that's
of
the thing with us is we don't believe that we never believe that we're like the best, or we're really good at what we do. Like we think we're good enough to do what we do, but at the same
right.
time, like I think it's a humbling thing for us to like sit there and ground ourselves and say that we are we're an- we're decent enough and we're entertaining enough to continue doing this.
When you guys first started, did you envision like the stuff that you're doing now, or did you have a different vision in your head of what it was that you guys were doing? And then, how how did you how did that spur to where you guys are now? Because, like I said, when I talk to a lot of people, or I hear about a podcast, I think of something. I think of two guys in a booth or two guys in a room together, and you're not really you're talking about things external, but you're not going out. You guys actually go out and do interviews. You guys take
Yeah.
road trips. You're going to different conventions. You're not only just interviewing people, but you're very close with the people that run the conventions as well.
Right. Right.
Is this
We
what you set out to do when you first started, or
And it's a combination, man. I mean, like some of the things that we do were things on the road plan. Like eventually we want to do this. There are some things that we still haven't done, and we're still not where we want to be. But I mean, like it's we're constantly trying to grow and trying to push ourselves forward and trying to innovate and make ourselves better. In every way that we can. When we first started, it was just two guys who had just left another podcast that were like, okay, well, we're not doing what we think we should be doing at that show. So why don't we do what we think we should be doing and make our own show? And that's where the birth of Disconcerting came from. And it started off with just me and James, just two guys that wanted to talk about nerdy stuff. And then it evolved into different things where we started bringing more people into the fold and trying to get as
right?
many people around us that wanted to participate with it. The con thing was because really we just wanted to we wanted to be those guys on stage doing the interview. Like, how fun would that be if we did that?
Right.
And that wasn't something that happened right away. It took a while to get to that, but once we started getting that, once we got that going, um, there was always good feedback, and it's always, it's always been like, the feedback has always been good for us, and it helps us out because it also, we take feedback really seriously whenever we hear anybody give us any feedback, which is very rare, and we want more of it. But when we do get feedback, we make every change that we can to make ourselves better.
Right. Right. What's one thing that you would like to do that you just haven't been able to do yet?
Oh God, I one day I would want I just want this whole thing to be in like an actual studio,
Yeah.
right? Like I'd want like an actual what I want, my vision where like 5 years from now, right? We're this giant organization that's followed by everybody kind of thing. I would want a almost like comicbook.com or New Rock Stars, or like, we're in a studio, almost like on a studio set, but we
Yeah.
can still interact with our chat. Like I want to be as interact I want to continue to be as interactive as possible.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
that's the biggest thing is I always want our community to be involved with us. Almost to an extent where, the community is a part of the show. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I'm loving it. Do you have you guys have a lot planned for this year? I know you do a lot with Powerhouse, and they toured to like Idaho, Oregon, Nevada. Do you have a lot on your schedule already, or you packing up the schedule? What's up, Frey?
Yeah, we have a lot going on. So kick off the season, it's always Idaho. So we got a 2-day show in Idaho. We have 3 shows in Oregon. We have a show in Reno. There's supposed to be 2 shows here in California, and then of course LA Comic Con.
Wow,
We are doing a couple of new shows this year. We're doing a show called Kaboom Con
in Nevada.
in Nevada. I think you guys are going to be
Yes,
there, right?
Jimmy Jones. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
radio
yeah.
station. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna be doing Kaboom Con, and actually, we just got with another friend of the show. Kaboom Con was asking us if we wanted to do a panel,
Hmm.
and I think the plan now is we're gonna do. Uh, we're gonna do something with another organization. I don't want to give again a lot away with that, but there's some stuff down the pipeline that they
Ooh.
want us to help like kind of announce. So like mainstream media kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So and they want to kind of like do an announcement at Kaboom Con because we're both going to be there. So that might be something fun. And
Woohoo.
like again, it's things like that, I've always been like an aspiring voice actor, so I mean like I'd love to get deeper into that, you know what I mean?
Right. That would be fantastic. Yes, we will be at Kaboom Con as well.
Right.
So I am excited about that one. We are getting ready to. Wow, man, 40 minutes goes fast.
I know.
We're getting ready to finish up here. Is there anything you want to leave with people, or you know, direct people to stuff? We're gonna have all of your information in the description box down below. So if people want to find out how they can listen to Distant Nerding, all that information is going to be down below in the description box. Or Mez is putting it up right now.
Actually, I'm gonna give you guys
It's
one
in
more
both,
here.
honey.
I'm gonna give you guys one more here. Hold on, link. If you guys are interested right here, that link I just put in right there will give you everything that we have. So
Ooh, your link tree.
yeah, anything that distance nerding does, it's all there. And as far
Arctic
as any
Solace, stop it!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got it. We're like
uh, I,
dabbling back and forth.
I
Sorry.
was I was I was gonna say, our motto on the show is keep nerding together, right? So I mean that's really my driving message is, keep nerding together, keep enjoying the things that you love, and never allow anybody to tell you that you are wrong or weird or not right because you enjoy something. Enjoy what you enjoy, unless it's something that is like harmful. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
it's a different monster thing right there. But I mean, like, enjoy what you enjoy. As far as my little sign outs, if you watch the show, you're familiar with what I'm about to say. If you haven't watched our show, if you haven't listened to our show, then this is going to be your first time hearing this. But guys, connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of
All right,
Aaron Watson's Aaron
before you
Watson's
go,
feet.
I have one question to ask you.
Yeah, man.
How the hell did you meet Kevin Smith?
Oh man, all right. God, we don't have enough time for this. So Sunday morning, I got an email again because we're part of the press on at LA Comic Con. We get press releases and we'll get like invites from different promoters, right? And I get this email like early Sunday morning that says, "Hey, we really want you to come to this press event. It's a panel on cancer survivors and
Right.
how comic books and pop culture help them survive their ordeals, right? It's actually really powerful message. They were also leading into National Cancer Awareness Week. So just like how to check for cancer and things like that. But one of the cancer survivors was a breast cancer survivor. The other he was a stomach cancer survivor. And then of course the other panelist was a doctor, but then the last thing on there, and special guest host Kevin Smith.
Wow.
And so I was like, if Kevin Smith is there, I'm there.
Right.
We went, and for a second I almost forgot Kevin was there because just the message and the guests that were there were so powerful that it was just, it was breathtaking. It was beautiful. It was awesome. The breast cancer survivor wrote and drew a comic book while she was on chemo. The stomach cancer survivor basically said that the MCU got him through everything that
Wow.
he was going through. Like basically, he was just like, if I can just get to Endgame, then everything will be okay, and stuff like that. Like, and Kevin Smith, if for those of you who are Kevin Smith fans that don't know, he had a widowmaker heart attack, and he kind of lived on that same creed that, as long as I can get to Endgame, everything will be okay. I'll be all right.
Right.
It's kind of like his vegan journey, everything that changed in his life. So at the end of the presentation, I go stand in the back. Of course, Kevin Smith is getting swamped like he does, right?
Like he
Uh,
does.
right. And as he's walking out, I go shake my hand. I'll go shake his hand, and I go, Kev, I just wanted to tell you that you are a massive inspiration to me. You are a big deal when it comes to, I'm a podcaster. I have a podcast. We do interviews, and my interview kind of style and everything that we do, you take so much care into your interviews and to the way that you do things, and it really inspires me and makes me want to do what I do.
Mhm.
And you just see him, like, he goes,
Right.
and you just see just like the look of just that's beautiful all come on his face, and you kind of almost Kevin Smith is known for crying really easily, so you can see that he's already starting to, like, he's like, you have no idea how much that means to me. Like he said, that's what he said, right? He goes, you don't know how
Right.
much that means to me. And I told him, look, man, there are 3 bucket list interviews that I have. It's these 3, and I will consider myself completely fulfilled as far as interviews go. And I told him, Rob Paulson, Mark Hamill, and you. Last year, last year I had a chance to interview Rob Paulson. He goes, I'm going to stop you right there. He goes, you will get me on your show before you get Mark. I'm just going to say that.
Wow.
Right. And I told him, I mean, speaking of that, what would I have to do to get you on the show? How can I get you on the show? And he goes, well, he goes, "You got a business card?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I got a business card." Gave him my card, and he goes, "Yeah, no, well, I'll get in touch, man." And so I'm already kind of in shock. So I walk out of the room, and he gets swamped by more people because the press room was next door. So I had to grab all my gear.
Right.
Um, and we're walking back out, and he still hasn't left. The security's trying to tell him he needs to go, and people are still trying to like talk to him. And so I'm like, I hate this. And I was like, all right, dude, look, Kev, I know you got to go, man. Do you mind if I get a selfie? And he was like, absolutely, man. So took a couple of selfies, shook his hand, gave
Right.
him some stickers, and he was like, oh fuck yeah, I love stickers, man. Stickers go everywhere for me.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I just cussed on the show, but I mean that's I was just excited about it, right? And
Right.
I'm never, I don't get starstruck. I meet so many people, and I don't get starstruck when I meet celebrities. I was shaking when I met Kevin Smith because he
I'm
means
sure
so
I would
much to
be.
me. You
Right.
know, like he means a lot to me, man. And I reiterated, man, seriously, we would love to have you on the show, man. You just come on the show. I build Lego. We just talk shit for 2 hours. And he was like, that sounds like a blast. I want to do that. So,
Well, I
so
wish you the best. I will definitely be tuning in if you have Kevin Smith on.
God,
That
I
is
hope the
absolutely
world tunes in.
amazing. Well, Phil, I am very proud to call you my friend. I've seen you and James grow a lot in. Well, I mean, I've known you guys longer than the 3 years, but I mean, even just the
Yeah,
3 years that you've been focusing on this, you guys have grown so much. I'm
right.
so excited. I've told you there's been a few times I've gone out and people are like, "Oh, are you distance nerding?" We're like, "No, dude, we're our own separate organization. We're not as cool as those guys, all right."
You guys have more followers than us, so you guys are just the internet says you guys are cooler than us. All right.
Well, I pay well, that's why. Hey man, I want to thank you for being on with us. I know you have a busy schedule. You are working so hard on your own shows and so many things that you have up and coming. So I appreciate your time being with us.
I thank you, man. I thank you so much.
Make sure to check out Distance Nerding wherever you get your podcasts and start listening to them. All right, my friend. Mezzo, give us that outro. Woohoo!
I think
Notice
I
every
took that
picture.
picture too. That was at KyberCon.
Yes. Every
Um,
picture Phil's got this. I can just imagine with like a beer mug in his hand every time he's doing that.
and, and
Yeah.
Phil, I gotta tell you, every time I see you and James travel, I just get so jealous. I almost said a bad word. I get because I just want to go out and do stuff like that. I stay home a lot when it comes to just things in general. So I don't. I can't say I don't travel a whole lot. I technically took 5 trips this year, but none of it was for nerd stuff. It was all like
It was all
family
family
trips and
stuff.
stuff like that.
See, that's what I want
Um,
us to start doing, Mez, because we have had invitations from like Lightspeed. Lightspeed wanted us to come out and do like to narrate their fights and stuff like that, which I think would have been so much fun.
like
Just
I would have no idea what I'm doing if I did something
that
like
guy
that.
poked the other guy. Oh my god!
Good control there with that swing and stuff like that. I thought I can fake it till I make it.
I think it would be
um,
fun, and there's lots of other events. Like I would love to start having a KCP booths, as opposed to just Kyber Cave booths when we go to
like a
these merch
KC
events.
KCP mix in a sense.
Yeah, just to
Um,
promote. Because usually when I'm out there and I'm trying to sell sabers, I only have like a quick second to say, hey, by the way, make sure to check out, subscribe to Kyber Cave Productions. You can win. We give away a free saber every 100
so
subscribers.
is that you telling me that Mezzo you need to come so that you can KCP chat people?
See, you and Anthony and Aubrey, all of y'all can come out. If everybody else is closer, I drag them into.
Yeah, I know. I would do. Well, let me know what the next event is. I can't guarantee you, but just because when you guys do cons, my brain can't keep up with the chat that we share with his store manager. And
Mhm.
so if there's like a con coming up, hey Mezzo, there's this, can you come and I'll see what I can do. Um, yeah, I would love to get Gray Haired out here, distance learning.
Yes.
When Forrest got to come out here, that is the first online friend that I've worked with, where it be like a channel or whatever, or streamed with from far away that I've actually got to meet in person, which was pretty. Well, I can't say that 100%, but that I worked with on a channel with for sure. Yes, is the first time I've been able to meet someone. I did do
Right.
for those of you who maybe not remember this, but there was this streaming app Twitter owned called Periscope for a while.
Yes.
And I had about 1,100 followers on there. I would sing opera, and sometimes I would suck helium to do it. And I went to a convention for it in San Francisco, and I did get to meet a few of the people that I made friends with on there. So that was fun, but
Nice.
none of that was like, they weren't like family like Force and everybody here in KCP is. So
Right.
yeah, I miss Vine too, distance learning. Like TikTok just felt like a reinvention of Vine and then added longer videos. So that's exactly like just how it felt. All right, so now that we have finished our Bad Arse interview with young Phil, because he's Bad Arse, that's why I added that. We have our next segment, which Kevin Hogan. Guys, Kevin Hogan is our Comic-Con Adventures reporter, and he goes to conventions every week and sends us conventions. And just as an announcement to let you know, next week is his last week with us for a while. He's taking a break. I know, and we're going to be finding a segment to fill until he would like to return. And we'll just be something fun. It might be actually interactive with you guys. Who knows? That's what we're kind of just gonna fill it with something fun until he's ready to come back.
Yes,
So
Kevin, we love you so much. We love your
yes, we do.
segment. I think it's really cool. I'm very proud of having a show where we can let people know about up and coming events. It's not just showing stuff that's going on, but it's also letting people know where they can go so that they can be a part of this bigger community. So, Kevin, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've done on our show. Hopefully you will definitely be coming back. You are always welcome, and we hope you will. We're hoping this is just a little tiny break and you'll be back on the scene. But
I hope so.
yeah, we love you, Kev. You do
All
great
right,
work, buddy.
we do, Kevin. So everyone, please enjoy this Comic Con segment.
Hello, this is Kevin Hogan from Northern California with an episode of California Comic-Con Adventures. On the weekend of December the 1st through the 3rd, 2023 was the Los Angeles Comic-Con over at the Los Angeles Convention Center. LA Comic-Con is one of the very large Southern California Comic-Cons you may have heard of there. These events can be so large they can have over 100,000 fans over the whole weekend there, with maybe over 250 different panel discussions going on there. Sometimes with over 800 different various artists and exhibitions going on there. So definitely want to plan out your weekend if you're planning to go into the Los Angeles Comic Con there. There's so much to see and do down there, and definitely lots of cool cosplay going on as well down there. Very cool to check out. Also on the weekend of Saturday, December the 2nd, 2023 was the Vallejo Mad Hatters Day Parade. This is an annual parade in downtown Vallejo area where you get to see lots of different artist groups all come together to show off what they've been working on, where it's very interesting. You get to see lots of steampunk themed vehicles, kind of like out of the movies Mad Max, where they're all like metal animal shaped vehicles. Where they're like not really sure how they're moving exactly, but they're like shooting fireballs. Some of them have lights all over them there. Some of them are shaped like little houses or animals and stuff like that. You also have the East Bay Krampus group that are like shaped like animal demons and stuff from different cultures and folklore, walking around there looking for naughty children and stuff, with Santa Claus nearby. You also have the Star Wars groups like the 501st and others that are waving at people, handing out candy, which is nice. And you have many other groups from around Solano County waving at people, saying hello. So it's really interesting that they put this on every year, getting to see all the different artist groups come together that are put on such a fun thing. On that same weekend of December the 2nd, 2023, our friends over at Ohana Comic-Con visited Central California's city of Modesto, and then the next day on December the 3rd, they went to Northern California's city of Concord. Ohana Comic-Con, as you know, travels up and down the state of California every weekend, visiting a different city, hosting fun Comic-Con events. Their admission's very economical, usually less than $10 per person, and kids 10 and under are free. If you stick around to the afternoon, usually around 2:30 is when they have their fun cosplay contest where you get to hang out with some friends and see some interesting costumes they made there and win some fun prizes. So whenever Ohana Comic-Con comes to a town near you, definitely recommend checking it out. And for everyone looking forward to upcoming events, every weekend now through the middle of December from 10 a.m. to 6 in the Cow Palace in San Mateo is the Great Dickens Christmas Fair and Holiday Party. And also on the weekend of Saturday, December the 16th, 2023, from noon to 6, is the Cosplay in the Park Cosplay Gathering at the Christmas Festival in Cesar Chavez Plaza in San Jose, right across from the Convention Center. And also on the weekend of December the 17th, from 11 to 4 in Woodland, Ohana Comic Con is having another one of their fun Comic Con events. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the pics, and we'll see you out there at the next Comic Con.
All right, thank you, Kevin Hogan, for your report, sir. Always very much enjoy that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Mad Hatter event, they do that in Vallejo every year, is absolutely amazing.
That's cool.
Have you ever
I'm
been?
kind of like, oh no. I remember it said don't travel, don't do nerd. I don't like travel for nerdy things very much. I'd love to do that more. Like I love being at home with my family. But sometimes I think about how it'd be cool to travel a couple places, like for work.
Right.
It would be really cool to do that kind of thing. Who knows? Maybe one day. Well,
We will
anyway,
blow
thank
this
you,
channel
Kevin
up,
Hogan.
and that's what we will do.
We will build it up. All right. Thank you, Kevin Hogan, for your report. I look forward to next week's. It will make me. There's that
So
bittersweet.
sad.
Like I'm sad that you're. But when we sometimes we need breaks, and take them when you need them. So
And we encourage them.
yes, and so anyway, also I want to remind everybody in the chat, as you see in the ticker at the bottom, we have a Patreon. So you go patreon.com/KyberCave Productions to help support the channel here, and the time that we spend on it. If you're curious, I spend probably about 15 to 20 hours a week working on things for the channel.
Wow.
And
Wow.
editing, trying to emailing people, posting stuff like that. Just editing's more than just like cut and paste and then move that here. It's gathering assets and such.
Right.
And, it
It's a
takes
lot of
time
work.
to edit and stuff. And so, but that's just to give you like a little taste of one person's job. And we got graveyard edits. We got Ark here finds guests. Aubrey's finding a ton of videos for Hearts of Kyber. That's been going on Tuesdays. It's just and she's also like at the New Order. We actually recorded our first episode of a new show called New Order. It is recorded. We recorded it last Friday, and
I'm excited.
So here we'll be editing the first episode and we have also another new show. So both of these are uploads. Right. We have two new shows, guys. Two new shows. New Order, which is a cool like role playing game that Aubrey and a friend, Mel, I think is her name, created. That some of us are playing, and so like I even have special dice that I'm using for it. You guys will think these dice are really, really cool. They're metal.
Ooh.
Let's see if the camera will focus. And the lines, like that means 5 because there's 5 lines touching.
Oh, okay.
They have their own little box. I have 2 of them. And so they got that show coming. Very excited. There's going to be a lot of creative things with that show. It had a lot of pre-production stuff is what happened, and that's why this one took a little while. And then a new show with this dude right here who 3 times forgot it wasn't live. He started talking to the audience. I have edited the first episode of that show, and that will be going up tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
For everyone to see. Yes, I finished it finally. I have the second episode to still do. Let me give you an example, guys, okay? Ark and Anthony do the show. It's called Unpopular Opinion, and it's a lot of topical discussion. They're watching clips of a discussion, and they're talking about their views and things that advice of like what could be better and such. They recorded 2 hours and 25 minutes of footage.
I blame Anthony for that.
And Anthony has so many amazing things to say. He did a ton of research, but I can't include it all. So it has been edited down to 1 hour and 15 minutes.
All right. Wow.
So I did the best I could. So you guys look for those this week and enjoy. I'm not sure exactly if New Order will be ready this week. I'm trying to get it in by the end of the week, so it comes out on Friday.
I'm excited to see that.
Me too. And I'm sure Aubrey is as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll be back next week, but then we have a 2-week break. Yes. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve falls on a Sunday this year, so we will not be doing shows that day. So after
but we will be back right after that, though. Don't ever worry. We always come back.
And we do have our weekly shows and things that do come up that we still have come out and stream. So what?
Unlike your dad that went out for milk, we always come back.
Oh my gosh, Dan!
That was so horrible.
No, why'd you say it?
I don't know what possessed me.
Goodness.
We will be back, y'all.
Saber Rattle, everybody. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.